from the liver. It's going to act on angiotensin 1, which is a protein that's going to be in our blood plasma. The body keeps it produced, okay? When renin can get to that protein, it starts a series of reactions. Once it reaches, angiotensin 1 reaches the lungs, it encounters ACE. Do you guys remember that term? The angiotensin converting enzyme. That's going to take 1, convert it to 2, and what that wants to do is act on the fluid volume by way of the kidneys to raise blood pressure. Now, wait a minute. What if blood pressure is high, chronically high?
Do you need to slow it down?
People can be put on ACE inhibitors, meaning it blocks this enzyme functioning, which would stop lowering of the blood pressure correction and hopefully help people keep a low blood pressure. Here's the problem with the ACE inhibitors, okay? You have to make sure that you pay close attention to any medications that they might be given. Now, I don't know if you guys read or looked at the news over the weekend, but there was an incident. I think it was from Vanderbilt. Not sure if you guys saw that story. Makes me think about it.
So the recall of all the blood pressure medications.
Oh, well, now we have had that too. We've had a huge recall. Something about
Oh,
that.
they were like made in India. It's like
And they also were. They had their medicine that's similar to like the what's the take rate drug? The Rohypnol. Okay, or something that they had in them. No, this story from Vanderbilt, did anybody? It actually happened it happened about a year ago. And I'm guessing they finally finished all of their investigation into it. There was a patient that came in. She had a brain bleed. And they were sending her for a scan. Well, she tried to tell them that she was very claustrophobic. So, you know, they were able to order some medicine for her. Now, why they were, you know, ordering Versed, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that, okay? That's actually medication used when you're put to sleep for something, okay? Why, huh? Yeah, I don't know why they were ordering that just for the person to get a scan. I mean, something like Ativan or whatever would help just fine. Well, the nurse, when she went in to you know how like now medications are all computerized, and you simply like, I just love it. You basically, when you're in the hospital or whatever, the wristband that you're given, you got a barcode. Okay? Just gotta love it. And they use an actual scanner, like you see at the store, and scan your barcode, and everything pulls up. Then you punch in any type of orders, tests, medications, and all that sort of stuff. Nurse not paying attention to what she was doing. She did not look at the complete term of the medication. Versed, VE, okay? She chose the very first one that popped up with VE. Didn't look at the remaining letters. The first one she chose was the paralytic drug used in general anesthesia. The lady went into the coma. However, okay? It was not a coma where the lady was unconscious. She spent the next 3 days dying a very horrible, terrible, extreme death. Could not communicate because this drug she had been given and was aware of it the entire time. So, very sad situation, all right? So, it becomes extremely important, okay? Because if you think about it, all right, depending on the situation, the job that you choose to go into, you're going to be the one putting those orders in the computer. Sometimes the doctors will already have it. You just have to punch it up. But in an emergency situation, it could be something different. So one of the things that hopefully you'll learn as you go through your clinicals and so forth is to be able to check for reactions to medications that patients are already on, okay? Because a lot of times, even we, as the people taking the medications, don't know what it can be combined with. It's not going to work too good.
Some patients are though pretty educated, especially if they've been on the medications for an extended period of time. They'll know and they'll tell you. They'll, you know.
As long as they're able.
It's like, yeah, some of them are.
Yeah.
Obviously, but so like a lot of, younger patients been on these medications for a long time. They'll come in and they'll say, I'm taking this, and this, and I can't, this is, contraindicated and things like that.
And it's always good.
It's like a trust but verify, is what we always say.
Yeah. And as long as the patient is conscious, they are aware, okay, that's great, okay? But like a friend of mine who had surgery on Friday, and one of the things, because, I was there when she got into the room from recovery, and she's out of it, because of anesthesia and everything. The nurse comes in and it's like, oh, are you in pain? And of course, yeah, she is. She wants to give her ibuprofen. I know that's one thing my friend can't take. She was not able to be able to tell her that. So, if I hadn't been there to know that, she would have been given that medication. So, it's just, it's an iffy situation. But I do know that these ACE inhibitors have quite a bit of, you'll see, like, commercials, and down at the bottom in the fine print, it'll say, do not take if you're on ACE inhibitors or have previously taken ACE inhibitors. That's something that I kind of notice, I guess, because of teaching this topic. So when we have a situation where we're going to have this raw system, somehow we get information about a drop in blood pressure, usually because there's decreased oxygen. That signals the liver. We get some proteins. Angiotensin 1, we're going to get our renin. Angiotensin 1 gets exposed to the renin. That's going to make it the 1, gets to the lungs, gets in contact with the ACE. We get 2, and hopefully that corrects the problem. Now, it's going to correct the problem by constricting blood vessels. We're going to see that it's going to get aldosterone from the cortex. We're going to have this part of the hypothalamus make us want to drink some more water. All of this, the goal, return fluid to the blood. If you increase the blood volume, you increase blood pressure. So the raw is something that you'll come across. So now, if we think back to the structure where we've got that Bowman's capsule and that glomerulus inside of it, the first thing that we encounter is our proximal convoluted tubule, the PCT. Is everybody with me? So any of the fluid that got formed, in the Bowman's capsule is now going to go this direction. So that filtrate moves into my proximal convoluted tubule. At this point, we're going to see, as we make our way through the PCT, as we make our way through the loop, make our way to the distal convoluted tubule, and to the collecting duct, okay? The goal of this tubular system, either reabsorb or secrete. And of course, water conservation is going to come up. Okay, so we now need to take this filtrate and put it through processes that's hopefully going to turn it into urine. Chemicals, hopefully, are going to get removed and or added during this process. We've got to make our way from our proximal convoluted tubule to the distal convoluted tubule. At the point of my proximal convoluted tubule, do you happen to remember some of the cellular structure for these two, some of the cell structure for this?
Simple squamous.
I have simple squamous. I've got simple cuboidal. Okay? Simple, one layer. Both simple squamous and simple cuboidal are excellent for materials to move across. So the structure is a good structure to allow movement of materials. In the PCT alone, in my proximal convoluted tubule, it reabsorbs about 65%. Reabsorb. Which direction are materials moving? Back to the body. So out of 100% filtrate, at the point of just leaving my proximal convoluted tubule, 65% is getting returned. I'm now left with 35% to make its way out. However, can I still have, okay, let's think about this in liters, because we know that it was like 150, okay, to 180 liters that will move through, okay? So let's think on numbers we can understand. Let's look at 100, okay? So in a day's time, if 100 liters, at this point right here, 65 of them have gotten returned to the body. But that still leaves 35, if I didn't have any more of this structure, 35 liters that'll come out. That's